Today at Manchester Theatres, it is my pleasure to be joined by the lovely Grianne Dromgoole, who is getting ready to come to Lowry from the 22nd of July in the stage adaptation of the award-winning book and film, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. Now, of course, we're used to seeing Grianne at Lowry, who has been here in by royal appointment not so long ago, but has also been in other whopping shows such as The Merchant of Venice 1936, Deadheads, The Dance of Death, and Baby What Blessings, to name just a few. But of course, today it's all about espionage and betrayal and things like that. So thank you so much for joining me to talk about what has become a highly anticipated play for us here in Salford and Manchester. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. And it is a play or a story that, if you're trying to tell someone what it's about, there's so many twists and turns and I mean, they're literally never ending. So how would you kind of describe the story without giving anything away?
So I think the most basic explanation is just the setup. So it is literally the spy who came in from the cold. You've got this spy who has been posted in Berlin during the Cold War, and his best agent has just been shot, and he's had enough, and he wants to throw the towel in and stop being a spy. And they ask him to do one more job. So that would be coming in from the cold if he stopped being a spy, but they ask him to do one more job. And for that job, he has to go undercover and pretend that he has come in from the cold and stopped being a spy. So he has to start living the life of somebody who's left espionage behind them and is failing and is going from job to job. And one of the jobs he gets is at a library. And in the library, he falls in love with Liz Gold, which becomes a massive spanner in the works of the plan because
Love
suddenly
it.
he's tied to the fake life he's been living.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's like the setup. And
Yeah.
then after that, there's so much action. There's so much like spy mastering and who's actually pulling the strings and
Yeah.
it is really mind bending.
It is.
Really
There's
fun.
twists on the twists, isn't there?
There's twists on the twists. There's like a Truman Show what reality is. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, it's unbelievable. But
yeah.
that's where you come in because your character is Liz Gold. So the person who he meets in the library, I mean, on the surface, she's got a simple life. She works in a library, she falls in love. But her life really is not simple, is it? So tell us a little bit more about your character.
So she's wonderful. Yeah, she lives on her own. She's in her 20s. She's a woman in the early 60s, living in Bayswater, working in a library. She's Jewish. She's a member of the Communist Party. So she is very political, but actually in like a very everyday way. I think she just cares about people. And a lot of what she cares about for equality is yeah, this like early 60s, early civil rights movement. I want people to live well and be equal and have good lives. But obviously, in terms of the Cold War, that's quite confusing because it also allies her with all of these forces that she might
Mhm.
never had come into contact with had she not accidentally fallen in love with a spy or GDR.
As you do, as you do.
um,
And
but yeah, she's wonderful. She's also lonely,
hmm,
um, which is part of yeah, in the play version, she is lonely as well. We never see her with any friends. We never hear about any like bigger social aspect of her life other than work, where she works with this one older woman who's very tough, and the Communist Party, which she's kind of dedicated to. But we know she's not really in contact with her parents, and yeah, she's very vulnerable in
yes,
some ways.
yeah.
I don't want to give away too
I
much.
know, yeah. But we'll stop there then. We'll stop there. So we've got an intro to her and who she is. And of course, this whole thing, like I said in the intro, it's, there was a book, there was a film, they both won massive awards. So I know like actors and performers kind of handle this differently depending on your own preference. But for you, are you someone who likes to absorb both of those and take in everything that you can learn about this show? Or are you in the camp of, do you know what? I don't want to be subconsciously influenced by anything because this is going to be my version of Liz and my interpretation. So you avoid it all. So which way do you kind of, or just sit in the middle?
I think I want it all.
Yeah,
Then you can throw away anything that doesn't fit, I guess. Because in the end, it like the raw material you really need to work from is the script
yeah.
and what's in the script and what's on the page. But then it was fantastic reading the novel because I'd never read it before either. And there's just like all of this extra material that you can pull on if you
Mm.
want and detail about like, especially stuff about the time and the atmosphere at the time that I didn't know. And what Liz's flat might be like, you know, just
Yeah,
all these
yeah,
really like realistic, detailed, amazing portrayals of stuff. And then also in the book, this doesn't come up in the play, but I found it really interesting. In the book, you find out so her family are Jewish immigrants from Germany, um, and her dad died in Germany, which I
oh,
also think is really interesting. It's not in the
yeah,
play, but I thought that was a nice like added detail to hold in mind, just that
yes.
like peril and those relationships across Europe and how dangerous it might feel going back to Germany.
Mm.
It's another spoiler, sorry.
Only a little one.
Tiny one, tiny one.
Yeah.
But no, so there's a bit of everything. And then I watched the film. I'd actually seen the film before I got the part, but when I was a kid with my grandpa, and I slept through the whole thing. And I just woke up for the final moment, which is
Oh,
the biggest spoiler
yeah.
you can get. So all I knew from the beginning was what happens at the end.
Oh no.
But I went back and watched it again, and it's
Yeah.
so good. And yeah, it was great watching that. Also, just to hear like tonally what those accents are like and
Mm.
the way people spoke to each other and the like mannerisms of that time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. And I think, you've said there with the book, of course, you're never going to fit everything from a book into a 2 hour play or anything like that. It's impossible. Same with the film, it's impossible. But I mean, we've talked about award winners. We've got an award-winning writer who has adapted it for stage as well with David Eldridge. I mean, he's an unbelievable, dramaturg, playwright, and all these things. Have you had the opportunity to meet him, work with him, talk to him?
I have. He's amazing. He's amazing. One of the plays he wrote was actually the first play I ever bought.
Oh,
But no, so I've always thought he was completely
yeah.
brilliant, and I was just like thrilled. But he was in the first day of rehearsals. He was in there for the read through. Which actually nothing makes me more nervous than David being in. Because you just want, I don't know, you know that this person has the like heart of the script and the words so close to them, and
Yes.
you
Yeah.
want to be, yeah, serving that as fully as possible. But I think he's brilliant, and I think he's done an amazing job on the adaptation because it's got emotion, it's got the dialogue, it's got all this bounce, and he keeps the ball in the air so well, and then also so much humanity, and all of the characters are quite fleshed out whilst keeping this plot driving at the most incredible pace because it is a novel in 2 hours, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
He's amazing. Are you a
He is.
David Eldridge fan?
Sorry?
Are you a David Eldridge
I
fan?
am, yeah. I've actually previously interviewed him as well. So yes. Yeah. So I've had the pleasure of meeting him and yeah, talking about one of his plays came to the Royal Exchange in Manchester. And yeah. So yeah, I am.
He's also
Definitely.
just the nicest man.
Yeah.
He's so lovely and
Yeah.
friendly and easy. So
Apart from supporting West Ham, apart from that. But the rest of it's amazing. Yeah. But
and he really supports West
I
Ham.
know, right? But yeah, I mean, like you've said, the play is there's just so much to unpack, isn't there? Even like with the themes, you've got espionage and deception and manipulation and moral ambiguity as to, if you do something wrong, is it okay if it's for the right reasons? And the
Yeah.
way that that can alienate people and make them feel isolated. And there's so much going on, isn't there? And like it does raise interesting questions.
Does the ethical questions are horrible
Yeah.
because it's also these questions of like, is it okay to hurt one person or two people if you're acting on behalf of the whole population of a
Yeah.
country, which is not questions anyone ever wants to have to face. I know I don't, but all of that moral ambiguity and grey area is basically where the show sits.
Yeah.
And it's really, yeah, which is why it's so different to a James Bond or your other
Yes.
spy thrillers, because it's all about these like really knotty, gritty, ugly parts of human behavior as well, but also people really trying to do the right thing most of the time on
Yeah.
both sides. It's about how little difference there is between opposing sides often in some ways.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah. They're all doing the same thing, but just, yeah, with a different, same end goal, but different person to win, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like you say, it's what I like about this is that it is, it sits in realism, like you say. It's not that glamorized life of a spy, but also it's not that glorified view of war and the after effects of war, and that war kind of doesn't end when it's done. I feel like I'm quoting Miss Saigon there, but there's like when it's done, it's not over, is it? And that's kind of where that kind of darkness where this sits as well.
Mm.
So it's
And that's
really
what the
interesting.
Cold War was kind of.
Yeah.
It was this war that had apparently ended, but really hadn't ended.
Yeah.
And there's like all of this tension simmering, and everyone is kind of, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone's agreed that they'd like want as few people to die as possible because all of the wars of the early 20th century were so horrifying. But
Yeah.
it's not all resolved at all.
No, not
All,
at
yeah.
all. And then in the middle of all of this, we've got the love story of Liz and Alec. But even I'd say the love story isn't just contained to them two. There's almost like a love triangle because there's the love that they've got for each other, but then that is at war with the love that they have for their country and their political beliefs as well. So there's kind of they have to ask themselves difficult questions as well. Which one, when
Yeah.
things may or may not clash, without giving any spoilers, that they're going to follow, don't they?
Yeah. All both of them do. And both of them actually, yeah, it is like a triangle or like a square.
Yeah,
I don't know because there's like Liz and Liz loves communism, and
yeah,
then Alec and Alec loves his country in like a very patriotic way,
yeah.
and he wants to serve his country by being a good spy. But the deception that that takes
Mm,
basically makes it impossible to have like a loving relationship in your life. It
yeah.
was really interesting. We got the chance to speak to some spies when we
Oh,
were
wow.
rehearsing. And one of the things that this one guy who'd been a double agent, he was from West Germany and then he went to live in East Germany and then he got recruited to be a spy for the GDR and then he went and worked for NASA as a double agent and kept and he told us about that. But what he said was one of the hardest things was the emotional toll of not being
Mm,
it being so hard to have any intimate relationships because you can't be honest with anybody because you are living this. And I guess that's what Alex's struggle is. And that's the kind of disillusionment working away on him is this thing like Liz idealizes communism so much and as this like utopia and hope, and then he idealizes England and the desire to do good for England, and both of them just get so disillusioned over the course of the play.
yeah.
But they have their love for each other.
They do, yes.
It's
And they
really,
do make big sacrifices for each other as well, don't they? And again, I'm not going to say what, but they do make big sacrifices. And do you think if, because obviously we've talked about all the different stuff that was going on at that time, if we lifted them and plonked them in 2026, do you think their relationship would play out in the same way? Because there's still that capacity for war, as we can see. But other things are somewhat different, not all different. But do you think they'd play out the same or?
that's so funny. I haven't thought about that. That's such a good I don't know. I think yeah, I still think they are two very intense people um who love each other very intensely, and there are so many reasons for them not to be together as well. And
Yes.
I think those people often find each other in
Yes.
life, and part of like the impossibility of it plays into how attractive it becomes as
Yeah.
well, and the intensity of the love and the intensity of the feeling that grows. So I don't know. I hope they wouldn't have the same ending if they met now, but
Yes.
I think they'd still have a lot to learn before they could fully be together and love each other and and have a good life.
Yeah.
But they would still be attracted to each other, I think.
Yeah.
I think you have to believe that that attraction is timeless and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's I think that's the right word actually. Yeah, it's timeless. Yeah, I like that. And then finally, I mean, just trying to get my head around this plot, honestly, there's like yeah. So I was watching it, and then at the minute I'm also watching the US traitors as well. And I'm thinking, do you know what? I would make a rubbish traitor, I would make a rubbish spy, because I can't remember things to get, to go, oh no, that wasn't. So how about you? If it was you or maybe Liz, who do you think could make the best
Okay.
spy?
So I think Liz would make a brilliant faithful.
Yes, she would, wouldn't she? Yeah.
Because people would believe her. I think she's quite trustworthy.
Yeah.
I think that's like a good Liz characteristic which would woo people in. We have actually thought about this and we all talked about this so much during rehearsals. So everyone's obsessed with traitors.
Yeah.
I think she'd be a really brilliant faithful. I think I'd get voted off traitors after the first episode, to be honest. I think I'm suspicious. I just think I'd be that one who they're like, well, we'll obviously get rid of her first.
Yeah. I'd be the giggler. I'd be like, I'd laugh. If someone said you're a traitor, I'd laugh. I'd be like, even if I wasn't, and then they'd be like, oh, she is. Yeah. But yeah, it's
same.
It's a mind-boggling concept of these spies and what they do. And yeah, I have no idea how they do it, but hats off. And we can, of course, come and watch all of this unfold at Lowry from the 22nd of July. And yeah, it's got a lot of anticipation, this one. So I'm really hoping that it's an air-conditioned theatre as well. Come along, get out of the heat. Yeah, come and watch it. 22nd of July at Lowry. And we can catch Grania and the rest of the cast. So thank you so much for joining me today. I've really enjoyed our chat, and I cannot wait to come and watch.
I can't wait to be in Salford and Manchester.
Oh, thank you so much. And not long to go. We'll see you very, very soon.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
I really enjoyed it. Incredibly dramatic.
I was gripped from the beginning. I absolutely loved it.
I would say that I'm like a spy nerd, and it had like the twists and turns that I needed.
It's intriguing, it's thrilling, it's sexy.
And it just kind of like lures you in.
I love John le Carré, and I thought that this was a really exciting adaptation.
Live theatre is wonderful. It's everything. Come and see it. Enjoy it.